What's up, Dead Drawers, and welcome to episode number 80 of Dead Draw Gaming, a Pokemon TCG podcast like no one ever was. We have a super exciting episode for you guys today, so if you are hyped, just like we are, make sure to hit that like button down below and share this podcast with all of your friends. But before we get too far into things today, Dead Drawers, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you guys to my co-hosts who are with me every single week. Hello, Danny. Hello, Darrin.
What's up, Dan? Darrin here. I am very excited to be here today for our super fantastic brand new podcast episode. I'm very excited in my real life because I finished my night classes for now until I have to take more. So, hooray for one more evening off. Yeah. I should say one more evening to do Dead Draw stuff. Yes. Hooray.
Hooray.
This is a good thing. Danny, how are you?
I'm a little crabby.
Oh no.
Mostly because of the snow. I'm trying to make the best of the snow. Because we got like 9 inches. Did you guys get a lot?
Not as much.
Not that much, but...
Okay. So we got like 9 inches on Saturday, Sunday, into Monday. And it was like the real heavy stuff that started out as sleet. And I broke my shovel in half.
No.
And my snowblower's in the shed. And I went to Walmart. And the dude was like, no, we don't sell shovels anymore because it's not in season. I was like, great. And I came home. And I found an old shovel. So I used that. And now we're getting like 8 more inches right now. Literally, I look outside and it's snowing like crazy. And it's April 18th. So...
Remember when it was 60 like 4 days ago?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be the mid-60s next week. And all I can think about is, why is this happening? And I try to make the best of it. So like last night, I went outside with Lacey and we made a snowman. And she was real happy about that. I'm trying to make the best of it. But I know when I wake up at 6 o'clock and go out and shovel the driveway, I'm not going to be in the best of moods. Other than that, I'm fine.
I suppose all this snow puts a damper on your running.
Yeah. Oh, I did start running. So I'm doing a marathon in September. So I got a long ways to go yet. But I figured I'd start like eating healthier and exercising. So I do quite a bit of workout regimen during the day. And then right now I'm only running between 2 and 3 miles. Last night I did just 2 miles, but they were 7-minute miles. So... so excited about that. I just do it on the treadmill downstairs for the time being instead of outside. Once it warms up a little bit, I'll go outside. But I upped my calorie intake a lot, and I've been eating a lot of protein. I'm only a few days in, but it's going to be a challenge. I haven't ran for a long time, like in a competitive fashion. But,
awesome.
Dan, how are you doing? Are you running?
Oh, I'm glad we're all laughing.
No.
Anybody who's seen Dan is probably laughing right now too.
Yeah. No, I am not a runner or an exerciser. I do like lifting at work. But typically that's like small things even. I don't nope. The escalator the escalator stopped working at work. It's like every time I have to go upstairs, I have to actually walk upstairs now. It's pretty bumming.
Wow, your life is rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you survive?
Well, there's an elevator.
We're off to a great start with this podcast.
But other than that, I'm doing pretty well.
What are we talking about today, Dan?
Pokemon stuff.
Yeah.
Specifically, some Pokemon news. And then we're going to jump into, guys, Madison Regionals is 6 weeks away. And I know we talk about this all the time, but it's super important for us. So we're going to talk about what we still got to get done. Then we will jump into a brief discussion about the Stuttgart Regionals that was in Germany this past weekend. Then we will do our weekly top 5. This week we're going to talk about abilities on the Pokemon trading cards that are in the standard format. Then we will do our question of the week, our buy sale trade of the week, our open discussion, and our wrap. So I will pass it on over to Danny and Darrin, who can start you guys off with the non-Pokemon TCG news.
Let's jump into Pokemon Go. First of all, Pokemon Go Community Day was this past Sunday. You were able to catch a Mareep, I hope. Find yourself a nice pinky sheep. That didn't come out as well as I wanted it to.
I think it came out great.
All right, good. In any case, hopefully you found yourself your pink sheep, and it had a really kind of a silly move. Its specific move for Community Day was a dragon type move, which sucks because then it doesn't get stab, and Ampharos already isn't very good. So,
Till Megas come around.
Right. So that's the hope. Like, hopefully Megas will happen, a year or two down the road or whatever. Then maybe Ampharos won't be terrible. But that's all. I mean, that's all for that. Moving on to the hype for next month's Community Day, Charmander. Oh, yes. We are getting the Black Charizard.
A black Charizard?
That's right. Shiny Charizard is black.
Ooh. I don't even have a regular Charizard yet.
Me either. I don't even have a regular Charmeleon.
I didn't get my Charizard until like last week. And then this, we're going to have a Charmander event. So for everyone out there who lives in the Midwest, I'm sure Charmander is just tough to find anywhere. This is going to be your opportunity to finally get yourself a quality Charizard. And we don't know yet what its exclusive move is going to be, but it's going to be hopefully very good. Because right now, our only good fire attacker is Moltres. Like, that's the best fire attacker in the game. There's not much if you want to do raid battles using fire types.
Rest in peace, Magmar.
Did you catch your shiny Mew?
No, I haven't got my Mew yet. I'm still looking for my Ditto. But for those that are questing, it's been discovered that the third quest reward Pokemon encounter is once again Moltres. So we have 3 Moltres encounters in a row. So that's good, I guess. Like I said, Moltres is your best fire attacker, so it'd be good to build one of those up with Stardust and your rare candies and whatnot. Also, we are out of our Gen 1 special event. We have moved on back to the normal, so all the raid bosses are back to normal. Gen 1 Pokemon are showing up very infrequently as they were previously, other than, of course, Pidgey and Rattata. They are back in full force. Pidgeys and Rattatas all over the place.
Gross.
Those are everyone's 2 favorite Pokemon.
I don't mind Pidgey that much.
Those Pidgey and Rattata.
If I made a list of all of my favorite Pokemon from 1 to, what are we at, 840 or something, they would be on that list. They'd be on there somewhere.
They would.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we made Dan come up with all 150 original Pokemon?
And he got like 138 or something. Oh,
yeah, he said he could definitely do it, and he couldn't do it.
I mean, I couldn't do it either.
It's tough to do.
It is.
Without looking.
I can do it now.
All right, do it.
No, I mean, no.
Oh, Jesus.
Next time we're together, I'm on it.
Perfect.
All right, and that's so that's all we have for Pokemon Go news for right now. There will probably be more news coming out soon, considering there have been little mini events happening around the world, like a Pikachu outbreak in Yokohama, but that might be just because it's Japan. You never know, really. When Japan gets stuff, you never know if it's going to show up anywhere else. So there you go.
Nice. Well, we've got a little bit of non-TCG related news as far as Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon goes. For those of you who participated in the 2018 International Challenge March Battle Competition, the entry gift is now available to all qualifying players, so you can log into your global link and head on over to 3ds.pokemon-gl.com and pick up your, points, I guess it would be? 50 battle points. You have until March 3rd, until March 31st, 2018. That doesn't make any sense at all because it's well past that already. I would assume it's May 31st.
Good, yeah.
definitely a typo in that one. Anyways, moving on. To our friends in the north, in Canada, the newsletter that contains serial codes for Entei or Raikou are now being sent out and received. Like the other distributions, they differ between the games. They're level 100 with a gold bottle cap, and Sun and Moons are level 60. Sun and Ultra Sun get Entei, while Moon and Ultra Moon get Raikou. You have until April 22nd in the United States, and you can get them at Target. And then finally, the last bit of news I have is that the 6th Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon global mission has finished in a success. This global's mission's theme was to hatch eggs and was a success at 4,887,292 Pokemon hatched. Since it was a success, you get 2,000 festival coins or 4,000 festival coins if your game is connected to the global link. Now available. So, Dan, since you've been playing so much Pokemon Crystal,
Yes.
and not Ultra Sun, don't even bother trying to get your festival coins.
Probably won't go for the festival coins, but I might drop by Target and grab that intake.
Raikou? Entei? Oh, you have Sun.
Correct.
You should get Moon just to get Raikou.
No.
Entei is cooler than Raikou, but Raikou is also very cool.
I don't disagree that. Wait, what?
Entei is slightly cooler than Raikou, is
Oh.
basically what I said.
Yeah.
Only just. However, leaps and bounds behind Primeape and Arcanine.
Those are both
That's
great.
it.
Great Pokemon.
That's all I have for non-TCG related news. We did have some card leaks coming out. Dan, you want to take us down some of the list?
Heck yeah. And we may as well start with a reprint. TV reporter revealed from Champion Road.
Oh,
It is a supporter card that reads, draw 3 cards, then discard a card from your hand. You may only play one supporter during your turn before you attack.
Dan, I was on this page and
Yeah.
I just can't get over the difference in the reporter art. Like the normal art is very creepy, and then the full art, like, oh hey, that's what anime is supposed to look like. It's just
So that's the same picture that was used in the original one.
she's coming
That
for
came
you.
out and oh yeah.
This is
I mean,
like killer
She's trying to
girlfriend
interview
style.
me. She's getting in my face.
Can I embarrass myself for a second?
Yes, you
All right.
can.
So I never played during the time when TV Reporter was playable or legal or whatever.
Mhm.
So I've only glanced at the card, through sorting and sifting through bulk and organizing. I thought that was a boy.
Oh, well.
Oops.
Clearly it's not. I mean, it's pretty obvious now that I look at it more closely that it's not. I love the full art. I think it looks really cool.
I wish that Loudred was also in the full art.
Yeah, that'd be good. All you can see are his ear
Yep.
speakers.
Yep. Or
Can you
the
tell
other
me why this
Pokemon.
card is good?
It's not.
Like, was it good at one point in time?
I think so. Seems possible. It probably was because, you gotta remember, there wasn't really draw supporters in that era like there is now. Supporters did other things.
Those were the good old
They were
days,
more
huh?
they were more utility versus drawing.
That's true.
So we have things like How and Sharon that are just draw 3 cards without discarding. But is there an opportunity
Why are
now?
you forgetting Tierno?
Sorry, yes, Tierno. That's what I meant. I meant all of them. Discarding a card can be a really good thing, especially in a format now where one of the biggest problems with people testing the new Malamar Ultra Necrozma build is that they have no way to get their energy in their discard efficiently. So here's another way to discard a card.
Doesn't seem worth.
Sure. Devil's
I
advocate.
won't say it doesn't seem worth it. It could definitely seem worth it. I just think that there's other draw supporters that do more that could easily get energy cards in your discard pile.
Yeah, like Sycamore.
Like Sycamore. But Sycamore won't always be in the format, and
Right.
it doesn't look like we're going to be getting anything that's discard your hand, draw 7 cards.
I don't know what's
Like
going to
we-
happen, guys. It's going to be a weird
Yeah.
world.
in 5 months, you will not have that since, what's it been, 6 years? 7 years?
Well, we
Yeah.
don't know. That could come out in Champion Road.
I mean, it could, but right now it has not. So I'm saying that there is a potential that for the first time in like 7 years, you do not have a card that's discard your hand, draw 7.
You're right.
I won't even know how to play, which doesn't matter because I don't know how to play the way it is.
I'm really hyped on this. I just, one more time, the art, this Yandere old art is very funny. I love it.
Yes. Agreed.
Moving on.
What else do we get, Darrin?
Well, we get to see the name and mascot for the SM7A set. We now know the name of the set is Thunderclap Spark, and the set will feature Zera Aura, and probably as a GX card, and will be released on July 6th. This set will likely be integrated into our SM8, and the dummy booster pack art confirms Verizian Genesect, Magcargo, and then, of course, Zera Aura will be in the set. 60 plus cards, not including secret rares. And yeah, good stuff. I'm glad to know that we're getting Zera Aura. I'm hyped on this Lucario cat. Like,
Isn't it crazy that we're already on SM8?
yes.
Doesn't it seem like just yesterday we were talking about, hey, they're going to be releasing Sun and Moon soon, and this is SM8.
Actually,
Like-
yeah.
We're nearing the end of the Sun and Moon block already.
Wow. What are we going to do next? We don't even know what the next gen is.
Maybe we'll just have to stop the podcast. That's the end.
We've reached
Very good.
the end of
Been a good
Pokemon.
run. Not going to get to episode 100.
Oh my. And the TCG ends with SM8. It's the final set. Everything's come to a conclusion. The Pokemon Sun and Moon anime is over. Ash is the champion. Hooray.
Doubt.
Yeah, real
Wow.
doubt. He's not very good at competitive Pokemon.
Have you watched the recent animes? Is he still not good?
It's actually even more like not competitive. Like, because Sun and Moon, I feel like isn't very structured competitively. Like, you just battle dude guys. I miss the old gym format, with the and then the Pokemon League. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Dan hasn't played.
Probably.
It
part
definitely
of
doesn't
it.
help.
I'm just not playing until they come out with a dual fire ice type.
Perfect.
Alolan
Get
Primate.
involved. Yep.
Or some other sort of primate. Whatever the new region's called.
There's one new card scan that I really want to take, but I'll leave it for Dan, or otherwise he'll get mad. So I'm going to go with Energy Switch, which has been revealed. Is that the one that you wanted to talk about, Dan?
Yep. Energy Switch is it.
So this is just a reprint, obviously. Move one basic energy from one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. We haven't had an Energy Switch since...
Roaring Skies?
No, there was one in, I think it was Sun and Moon base.
Oh, yeah, there definitely was.
So this will stay in the format for a
Ever.
while. Yeah, Energy Switch not going anywhere. You don't see
It's
it.
been in format longer than Discard Draw 7.
Yeah, you don't see it played a whole lot, but it does come in handy every once in a while. For example, it was very popular when Darkrai was running around like crazy. When Lapras started having a little bit of a time, Energy Switch was played quite a bit. It comes in handy just to move stuff around, especially when you have those Pokemon that are like, you can't attack on your next turn. Because then you retreat, Energy Switch, power up another one, bada bing, bada boom. So that's it. Dan, what else we got? You better take the one you want.
Yeah, so we got Feraligatr revealed from Champion Road.
There it is.
Yeah, so Feraligatr is a stage 2 water type with 160 HP. It evolves from Croconaw. Has an ability, Downpour, reads as often as you like during your turn before you attack. You may discard a water energy card from your hand. Then its ability, its attack for water Riptide does 10 plus damage and reads, this attack does 20 more damage for each water energy card in your discard pile. Then shuffle all your water energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. Weak to grass, no resistance, and a retreat cost of 3.
I'm going to build an Archie's Feraligatr Primarina GX deck.
Wow.
I don't think those things go together.
Sure, you just Archies for Alligator. You put a bunch of energy in your discard, Aqua Patch, use Primarina's attack, and then you hit for a lot. I don't know why I would use Primarina as my main attacker in Expanded instead of like a Keldeo or something. But it's really probably just to... I'll probably only make this deck when I 1v1 Dan because of the anger that he has for Primarina.
Yeah. Do not like. This card is like not very good.
I mean, if you load up your discard pile with a lot of
You
water energies, you're
You
going to
only get
need...
to do it once. You got to figure out how to do it again.
Trade. So you got 4 Zoroark GX on your bench. Trade. You have a full hand. You have 8. You have 8 water energy, and you've discarded 4 water energy for your trades, and then you have your Sycamore. Discard your 7 water energy with your Sycamore. Draw 7 more water energy. Use for Alligator's ability because you just got him. There. Just do that every turn.
Busted.
Wow, this is not a great card, unfortunately.
I don't know what you're talking about. You just broke the format.
Dude, 20 damage for each water energy is not enough in today's format. Like,
No.
and it costs 2, and it's a stage 2. No, it's not enough.
No, why would they make it like this? Like, you already have... Like, why make Night Marchers
Yeah.
that don't make you shuffle all your Night Marchers back into your deck and then make something like this? And those are basics.
Yeah.
I think
why? And it's 1 energy. Come on.
well, they probably feel like Night March was a mistake. Like
This big of a mistake that you have to do this?
this isn't good at all.
I mean, it's already a stage 2. So it's tough enough. I don't just...
And it's too attached. It's not even a DCE. Like, gross.
Yeah, not a fan. What else we got, Darren?
How about I talk a little bit about Scizor GX and Scythor?
This makes no sense to me at all.
All right. So we got Scizor GX, 210 HP Metal type, stage 1. Its ability is Danger Perception. As long as this Pokemon's remaining HP is 100 or less, this Pokemon's attacks do 80 more damage to your opponent's active before applying weakness and resistance. First attack for 1 metal, 1 colorless is Steel Wing, 80 damage. During your opponent's next turn, any damage done to this Pokemon is reduced by 30. And then second attack is Crosscut GX. For 3 colorless energy, it does 100 damage. If your opponent's active is an evolved Pokemon, this attack does 100 more damage. And then it's weak to fire and resists psychic. Retreat cost of 1. This card is so silly. Anyway, let's read Scyther really quickly, and then we'll go back to Scizor. It's a grass type, 70 HP, basic Pokemon. Scyther's first attack is Twin Play for 1 colorless. Search your deck for up to 2 Scyther and play them onto your bench. And then its second attack for 2 colorless is Agility, 20 damage. Flip a coin if heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. Weak to fire, no resistance, and a retreat cost of 1. So for all of our old card fans out there, this Scyther is exactly the same as the old Scyther, except it has 10 more HP, meaning you can't play your old Scythers.
Broken.
Gross. Okay, let's talk about Scizor GX here a little bit.
Let's start out by asking why Scizor has a GX and an EX card and Primeape can't get anything.
Have you put in a ticket yet to Pokemon TPCI yet? Like,
is Scizor that cool?
I don't know. I like Scizor, I guess. I like Scyther more than Scizor.
Do you like Primeape?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on. Scizor. No, but seriously, this Pokemon's design. Let's just talk about this from a design perspective here. It has 210 HP. Not that bulky for an evolved GX, right? It's pretty bulky, but not that bulky. And then its ability, If it has less than 100 HP, or I'm sorry, 100 or less, its attacks do 80 more damage. So, and then its first attack does 80 damage, and then reduces the damage you take by 30. So, I mean, I don't know. And then Crosscut GX, 100 damage. If the opponent's active isn't evolved, it does 100 more. So potentially doing 280?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's overkill. Its second attack is either making it take longer for you to get to that 100 or less, and then it only does 160, which doesn't knock anything out. Like, this card's design is so bad.
Yeah, I don't really understand it. I mean, its first attack, Steel Wing, like maybe if it was a double colorless, it would be better, obviously. But you're definitely getting knocked out next turn. Like, you've got to take a good hit to really be able to one-hit KO stuff. Otherwise, if you're putting a Scizor in and it gets hit, like what I'm trying to say is, if you have a choice band, you're doing, in 2 turns, you're doing 220 damage. So you really aren't going to need that extra 80 damage after it takes a hit.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get, I don't know. I don't understand. 100 damage is like only having 100 HP left. You're definitely getting knocked out.
Does this have any, is there any way to like transfer damage counters to this in an effective manner so that it can get one-hit KOs?
But why would you want to when you're giving up 2 prizes on the next turn? Like, if this wasn't a GX and this was just a Scizor, then it would be cool, because then you could like win the prize trade.
Stop making sense, Danny. Stop it.
Sorry.
No, this is not a great card. Again, ugh, badness.
Pretty not good.
I just don't see how these cards are supposed to change the format.
This one doesn't at all.
Well, it seems like that's kind of the run-of-the-mill conversation, is that nothing has really, that's coming out outside of a couple cards, maybe in Forbidden Light, is going to have a huge impact on the format. Like, Zoroark just laughs at this.
Oh, yeah. No, I completely agree. I don't know. Are we back to the point where maybe Pokemon might be trying to slow things down like they did with Sun and Moon Base? And then,
yeah, then that could be the case. But then why did they speed it up again with Guardians Rising and Burning Shadows?
Really solid questions again. I don't know, man. I wish that we had some consistency with our card design here.
Like if you want to make it to the point where you're 2-hit or 3-hit KOing, I'm fine with that. But then you can't be printing stuff that, like Zoroark, that can hit for so much or give you this ability to just draw through your deck so easily to really disrupt the game. I just don't see, like, Zoroark's attack is just a DCE.
It's like they're building for 2 formats here, like an imaginary slow format and the actual format where everything's busted and you draw through your deck in 1 turn. I don't know. IDK.
I don't either. All right, let's talk about Blaziken.
Yeah.
Blaziken was also revealed. So Blaziken, fire type, 150 HP. Stage 2 evolves from Combuskin. Its ability is Fire Starter. Once during your turn before you attack, you may attach a fire energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. And its attack is for 2 colorless and 1 fire. It does Fire Stream, which does 90 damage. Discard a fire energy card attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 20 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Weak to water, resistant to fire, and a retreat cost of 2.
Fire starter's back.
I think that's all we need to say about this one.
Yeah.
Here you go. 2 colorless, 1 fire, and you're going to go ahead and do 90 damage. Congratulations. Oh, by the way, it's a stage 2. Awesome.
Yeah, but fire starter.
I feel like this is almost good.
It was really good, like 4 formats ago.
Right.
Just not impressed.
Disappointing news this week. Ugh.
Yeah, and it seems to be kind of how things have gone. Unfortunately, we do have Forbidden Light coming in a couple weeks, so that's exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Releases on May 4th, which is Star Wars Day for all of you Star Wars fans.
Oh, can you tell me why, Danny?
What'd you say?
Why is it Star Wars Day?
I think it's May 4th, like May the 4th be with you.
Oh, yeah.
May the 4th be with you.
I don't get it.
That's a good joke. May the 4th.
Well, that's because you don't have the Force, Dan.
Damn. You get it?
You.
Force, 4th, May the 4th be with you.
Oh.
Somebody said it and it just caught on. And since Star Wars fans make up like 95% of the population and 0% of this podcast.
Yeah.
I have nothing against Star Wars.
No, me neither. Now all the hate mail comes rolling in. What? You guys don't like Star Wars? No, we do.
We should be getting our Forbidden Light. Hopefully next weekend we'll start opening stuff up. We're not going to be opening up a whole lot of this set just because there's not a ton that I'm super excited about, and because we have a lot of money invested into other things. To those of you who pre-ordered, we'll get everything packed up, send you tracking information, get it out so it can get to you by release day. That's the goal. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll be there.
I'll be here also.
Get wrecked, Dan.
Yeah. Get wrecked, Dan.
That's the one good thing about maybe this set not being overly hyped. I mean, there's still some decent cards, and some of the pre-orders that we've gotten, the lists that have come in, some of them are fairly lengthy. I think that Forbidden Light features a lot of cards that have potential, just not necessarily potential in the current format. So it may be a good idea to get playsets of some cards that could be relevant down the road, so that way you're not paying expensive prices later on. One thing I did want to talk about that I talk about in my brand new vlog that will drop on Friday. I didn't bring it up on last week's podcast, but Guardians Rising, I have gotten word as far as rumors go, and this is a pretty solid rumor, that Guardians Rising is out of print or going out of print. So you won't be able to get your hands on sealed boxes once this last shipment that was sent out to distributors goes through and gets sold.
Wow.
So much like Ultra Prism, the boxes may start rising a little bit. The problem with Guardians Rising is it was such a vastly produced set. It was overprinted, and some of those cards really are all over the market right now. However, in my mind, what this does mean is that Tapu Lele is going to go up in price.
Can you imagine
if you don't have your Tapu Lele's right now because you're waiting for them to go down, I would not wait much longer. If you can get them for $35 to $40, I would jump on it, because I think you're going to start seeing Shaman-like prices once August, September roll around. You'll see the regular arts going around 60. Just because everybody needs them in standard. You need them. You got to have them. Mm-hmm. And if Guardians Rising, like, those packs aren't in a lot of collection boxes.
No, they're too full with Steam Siege and Evolutions.
Ugh, gross.
Like the ones that I've opened lately, like the Johto boxes, they're not in there. The Lucario boxes, they're not in there. I think they've been in a couple of tins, but other than that, the collection boxes haven't really had any Guardians Rising packs in them.
Can you imagine if Tapu Lele GX had been printed in Ultra Prism? You know, a set that was vastly underproduced?
Yeah. That would be insane.
Gross.
So we'll be on the lookout for Forbidden Light. I'm excited just to get some new cards out there. I'm anxious to see what Mew Ultra Necrozma does. Hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah.
Just a little break in the action. But I do want to make sure, and this is the tough part. So Forbidden Light is taking up some time. And it's very difficult to have planning going on for our biggest, I don't even know what to call what we're doing for Madison, because we're doing a lot. The Dead Draw Gaming Regional, at the same time as a new set release, they take away from each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's,
yeah,
I have Forbidden Light to worry about, but I also have Madison to worry about. Like, where am I dedicating my time? Well, obviously, you want to get through Forbidden Light, but then you also want to have a little bit of product on hand. And then if something catches, well, then you want to hold it. Because otherwise, if we're not going to be opening up a ton of it and we don't have it available in Madison, then nobody's going to come to our booth for those cards. So do you just open a couple cases, sell whatever you can, figure out what's going to be hyped? order as many of them as you can from other people, so you're not worried about cracking more cases. I don't know. That throws dampers into stuff, but I guess it's a nice segue into Madison conversation, which is our main topic.
Yeah. We're here. We're here 6 weeks out. Like we're running out of room here. What do we have left to get done? We've got a few things finished up, and then we kept adding more things that we had to do. At this point, like you said, Danny, we don't even know what to call what we're doing. We don't know what to call it because we're doing so many things. It's not just a vendor booth anymore. It's much more than that.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is that when Madison all started out, when I first talked to Jimmy Ballard, who's the organizer for Madison, I was talking to him, it was months ago. So this was probably 7 months ago or so. And he's like, hey, do you guys want in for Madison again? And we had already talked to him last year and saying, yeah, we're going to do it again. We're going to be in it. And there was always the idea that we would do the team stage, which is a healthy investment in itself. But then we also wanted to do a vendor booth. And that's kind of where we wanted to leave it, just a little bit of growth. And the vendor booth that we're going to have this year was going to be significantly smaller than what we had last year. Just because the amount of vendors that are there is insignificant compared to how many were there last year. It's much less. So there wasn't as much need for as big as a space. And I thought, hey, if we can get enough people over to our booth that we can justify, having a smaller space. And then it just blew up into this thing where I just kept volunteering us for more and more stuff. And now, like last week, I talked about how overwhelmed and stressed I am, and I still am, simply because I don't think I know where to go or what to do, like to check stuff off the list. Like people, when I did my vlog last week, a lot of people were like, oh, you should make a list. And I do have a list. It's like 6 pages long, handwritten, with a lot of notes next to each point, each topic, but nothing's really checked off because I don't really know where I'm going. And this is something that's completely out of the box for us. Like we've never streamed. We've never done a team stage before. So like last year when we were like, oh, what do we all need for vending? Well, vending we've done now, but we've never done all of this. So it's overwhelming. And 6 weeks it's not that long.
Dang.
Well,
so where do you guys think we are right now, and what do you all think needs to be done? Like, are you guys worried as much as I am? Are you stressing as much as I am?
I'm not as stressed as you. I'm still stressed, mostly because I took it upon myself to make sure that we have a really sick stream table, including prize cams. And so I've been on the hunt for tables, right? For a perfect table. And Jace, my wife, has been extremely helpful. She has kept her eyes open as well. She's sent me links to people that had potential tables for me. The problem is I'm having trouble finding the right size table, and I'm having trouble when I do find a good table getting decent customer service. Like, people are bad at selling things in general. Just like, it's really frustrating. Like, I'll talk to a person, I'm like, hey, do you still have this product available? Because that's an instant click button on Facebook Marketplace. And they'll respond with, yep, still got it. And then I'll go, okay, great. Do you have dimensions? Because a lot of people won't put dimensions for their table on their posting. And then they won't respond. And if they do respond, it'll be like, it's like 2 to 3 feet. I'm like, well, that's a big difference, man. Like, can you be a little specific? And then it won't be the right size. Or they'll just stop talking to me. It's just very frustrating that I don't feel like these people care about their customer. Like, I understand that it's a person-to-person sale, but like when you're selling to someone, there should be some modicum of respect involved. Like, have enough respect for me to just answer my question in a timely manner, and like, if we don't make a sale from that, whatever, we can both move on with our lives. Like, oh, it sucks. It just makes me really want to make sure that we are good with our customers when we have interactions with them. Been disheartening. I have 4 tables that I've found and liked that all 4 of those people have stopped just stopped messaging me. No, that's not true. One of them I thought was good, but was not a size that I liked. But yeah, that's just one aspect of planning for Madison, is just a table, and I'm having so much trouble with it. So I can't imagine. It's just rough to think about everything else that Danny's mostly been taking charge of here.
Yeah, I'll go through some of the list here just to kind of, because there's so much that goes into it, and a lot of people don't necessarily think about everything that goes into it. So just trying to keep a list organized and keep like checking things off is difficult to do because we're doing so much more. It's not like, oh, we just need to set up, 2 or 3 cameras, tell everybody to go to twitch.tv/deadjawgaming, and then there you go. And then take our cards, put them in our card cases, throw it in our booth, ready to go. And then we don't have to do anything with the team stage. Like, that's not it at all. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it. So first of all, a lot of the issue was coming up with the funds to be able to pay for it. Because even though we're going to go to Madison and make money, like all that money that we're going to be making there is pretty much already spent. And a lot of it goes into like investing into the event. Like what people don't understand is vending these regionals or vending these bigger events. It's great to have the opportunity to sell cards and sell merchandise, but that's not what we go there for. Like a lot of times the vendors go there to buy stuff. Like you go there because you get good deals on cards. You go there to refill inventory, and then you can bring them home, bring them to your store, list them online, and sell them for a profit that way. A lot of times you're going to go to an event and you're going to spend more money than you're going to make. And there's a lot of cost that goes into these events that people don't realize. Like there's a cost for the booth itself. There's a cost for the stream because the internet service isn't free. And then you have to outbid other people who want to stream. And then there's a cost for the team stage because you have to get all of your team members registered for the event. And then you have basically VIP registration because they don't have to move the rest of the event, and then they get eating, and then you have to worry about all these additional details that go into it. And I guess like it's not as simple as last year where it was, okay, a couple weeks before we just have to worry about pricing cards and buying additional inventory, because that's what our main struggle was last year. Like we wanted more staples, we wanted more ultra rares, and we wanted to make sure that we got everything priced. And I remember staying up until like 4 a.m. the night before, getting an hour and a half of sleep, and then driving to Madison to finish pricing cards because there's so much that needs to be priced. Like that's just a real little bit of it. So we still need to do that. Like that stuff that's going to need to get done. But then we also have to worry about layouts. So layouts for the TCG stream and layouts for the VGC stream, because you want things to look nice. So you have to have stuff created in InDesign or Illustrator or Photoshop or whatever the case may be, where you have different layouts, and there's got to be a lot of them, right? Because you have to have a splash page that focuses on advertisers. You have to have a page that says, we'll be back soon, and that has like a ticker or a countdown. You have to have the actual physical stream itself that has logos for advertisers and also has spots for the face cams and the prize cams, and you have to you want to have like either Pokeballs or whatever the case may be that shows how many prizes are left, and you want to have card scans. You need places for that. So like creating these layouts and these templates to be used, there's a lot of work in that. And then there was casters, which we have decided on now, but we have casters for the TCG and for the VGC. So you've got 4 casters on both sides. Well, VGC needs headsets, and then you need cameras for both of them. So where are we going to get the rest of our cameras from? And then you need a capture card for VGC. So where are we going to get a capture card from? Because capture cards aren't cheap. In the middle of it, we've got Forbidden Light, which comes out. So you've got to focus on that because we're a card store. Then last year, we had a much smaller booth than what we're going to have this year because we're going to have about 1,500 square feet. And we've got a lot more inventory this year. So you have to have more card cases. And to keep things consistent, they have to be card cases relatively similar to what we already have. So just because the appeal of it's going to be better. And then you need to price all your cards. You need shelving for all the product behind you. You need sealed product. Okay, what sealed product are we going to carry? Are we just going to have collection boxes and some booster boxes like we did last year? Or we're going to have a bigger inventory. The stream itself needs production people, and you need one for TCG and one for VGC. So we need 2 people that literally will not play and will not cast, and all they're doing is focusing on the production side of things. So making sure to transition to a different layout when there's a commercial break, or making sure to update the prize cards, or update the card scans, with a new active in position, or depending on what the casters are talking about, or to update the amount of prizes that each player has left, or to update the tickers, to update the names, to update the pairings, to update the win-loss record. Like, you need somebody in production who's solely just paying attention to the stream match, and that's all they do all weekend long. You need table covers and table runners and tablecloths. I have written down that I need to get our pro team, our team stage event, the players in that, all that figured out and sent over to Jimmy. So that way he knows who's basically registered for the event as part of what we're paying for. We need to work with our sponsors to make sure that they get their commercials over to us and get their logos over to us. And we get approval from them of the layouts, because that's where they're going to be advertising their space. And then we need to get more sponsors, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to recoup some of that money. And like I was talking on the phone earlier today with Jimmy Ballard about an additional sponsor who I'm hoping will sign up with us. And then we're working on a new logo so that way we can sell merchandise, because our team stage gives us the ability to sell an additional outlet to sell merchandise. So we could have new t-shirts, new hoodies, new long sleeve tees, and using a new logo, which we have been working on creating. And with the help of one of you lovely Dead Draw listeners, we have a logo that I think we've kind of settled on, and perfecting that to make sure that that's produced on attractive merchandise. And then we've got to place our order for all that. And we have to be careful, because we don't want to order too much and we don't want to order too little. And then we have to figure out how we're going to display our sleeves and everything else. So we're going to have wire racks on our table. Then we have to figure out, we're partnering up with PokeVault. So what kind of product do we want them to send over to us that we're going to be, then selling at our booth? And then we have green screens, so that way those can be behind us on the stream. So we can have, a green screen logos or whatever we want to show behind the casters. Or if we want to do photos to give additional discounts for people and have social media efforts and things like that, well, you're going to have a green screen for that. We have to worry about lighting. How's the lighting going to be at the event? Are we going to have to worry about glare? Do we have to bring our own lighting? Cameras, coupons, special products. Do we want to do anything special like mystery boxes or mystery chests? Floor vendors. So Madison is having additional opportunities for vendors that they can have basically backpack vendors walking around the event. And this will eliminate unsanctioned backpack vendors. Is that something we want to get into? Obviously, we're only 3 people. So who's all going to be helping us with this? What kind of roles are we going to have? Transportation. How are we going to get all this product, all this setup over to the event, set up, broken down? Like, this is just all stuff. I'm not going to go through any more of the list, but this is all stuff that is keeping me up at night. And there's very little that I can check off one at a time. It's difficult. I'm stressed. That's what I'm struggling with. Where do we begin? Is that what your list looks like?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's pretty close. Pretty close to my list as well. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to keep in mind that we have begun, that we've started, that we aren't just spinning our wheels for the most part. There's a lot to do. There's still a lot to do. And we got to do it. Like, we are beyond the point of backing out. Like, that's not an option. Like, it's do or die, right? Like, that's all there is to it. So we got to do. Got to make it happen. Like, Dan, I got to get up to your place sometime so we can start figuring out what we're going to do for our Twitch layout and and everything like that. We got to figure out all the slides that we're going to have in there. It's pretty soon, our sponsors should be getting us their commercials. I know they still have a couple weeks, but I was hoping that some of them would start coming in sooner rather than later. So we can start coordinating that stuff. For the VGC stream, we're going to need a second computer, right? So, like, we can't run 2 streams on one computer. That seems pretty undoable. So, like, I'm assuming we're using Dan's computer for one of the streams, right, Dan? For the TCG stream, was that the plan?
Yeah, I think that like I was always planning on using my computer for the TCG stream. Like I don't know if something else has come up, like where
No. I'm just saying we're going to need a second computer for the VG stream, so we got to figure that out as well. We should start running some tests. Like we should get all of the cameras that we have and see, just to make sure your computer, can handle some top-down streaming and just figure out what to do. I know that we aren't going to be the ones that are going to be producing the stream. We're all going to be in the booth, but we should know what we're doing, because like if something goes wrong, we need to be able to either point to someone that can fix it or be able to fix it ourselves in at least some capacity, because there's no way that everything's going to run smoothly. It's just not possible. So we got to be prepared to fix problems as they arise. So yeah, I think we should get together and start figuring that out ASAP. ASAP is the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Cool. What is one thing that we can do this weekend? Can we do that this weekend? Like, let's start nailing down things that we can get done as soon as possible.
I'd have to go through that list.
You didn't memorize it all when I just read it?
No, sorry.
Dan, can I come up? Can I just come over this weekend? Me and you?
Yeah,
all right, good.
I have to work on both days, but as long as
Hey,
it's
I have to work one of
I
them.
don't see any problem with that. So
Yeah, I got to work during one of them too. So, all right, we'll make something happen this weekend. It's just we're to the point where we kind of maybe have to try to be a little methodical about it. Like we're past the point of thinking about doing things. Like Danny, you were talking about this last week a little bit, but we're past the point of thinking about stuff. We have to start doing things, right? Like planning stages are basically over at this point. This is the point of execution.
Dan, where's your head at with all of this stuff? Like, is this kind of where you were thinking about, like, what all needs to be done? Or
I think that there's maybe a little bit more than what I was like originally thinking on, but I mean, for the most part, I think we got to look at it like we have, and I think Danny said this earlier, but we got to look at it like we have 5 weeks left and not 6, right? Because realistically, we're going to spend a whole week just pricing stuff. But I think that like most of the things that like it's tough relying on other people, right? Because there are a lot of things that we are relying on other people for that we can't do ourselves. But it's a lot of things that when Danny said this earlier too, but like it's small projects that we can't really do one at a time. Everything kind of has to be tied together, and you have to do it in the correct order to get it all done correctly. And so I think there might be a little bit more to do than what I was originally thinking, but like I definitely don't think any of this is impossible by any means.
That's good. That's good. Not impossible is within reach. Let's talk about some of the things that we have taken care of that are ready to go. So we have our casters. That was one of the first things we took care of, right? All of our casters are done. We have our cameras. That's right. Like, did we get all of our cameras lined up, Danny?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We have our booth staff. We've got our fantastic, lovely friends from North Dakota. They're coming once again to help us out. So we'll have Annie and Adam for sure, and we may have others able to help. So we have booth staff. So that's important.
We have a producer.
Well, hopefully. And these are the things that, like, I think a lot of stuff that we need to remember also is that there needs to be almost backup plans on the table, because in the event that something happens, there's always things that creep up. And if we're not prepared properly, we're going to fall on our face. And I think that's things that we're forgetting. Like, we have one producer, and I've been talking to somebody else who could possibly, it seems like, is more than willing to come and help out as the second producer, but we need to. So we need to have a third person or a third idea in line whether it be one of us who just makes sure we completely familiarize ourselves with how we would have to run production if it has to be us,
100% agree.
in case somebody can't make it.
Yep.
Like, there needs to be backup plans in place, or otherwise the stream's going to be completely done for. Like, I don't want to have a stream where the quality isn't perfect, or like, that's the thing we need to remember. Like, I know there's a lot, and I know there's little things that we have done here and there, but it's crunch time now. Like, there's things that need to be done or need to be checked off the list. Like, business cards need to start being ordered. Like, that logo needs to be finalized. Like, merchandise needs to be start being ordered. That stuff needs to be finalized, because if something happens where an order comes in and it's wrong, or we get all of our business cards back and they're wrong, we need to have that time in place that we can get that reorder in and get that fixed. Or if the shirts come in and they're all pink instead of white, like, that needs to be fixed right away. Like, we need to be under the understanding that something is going to throw a wrench into the plan, just because that's life and that's how things go. And that's why I think it's important that we don't wait until last minute. Like, when we order all the headsets, we don't want to wait until the last minute to order them, because we want to have time in case we need to get them replaced, or we need to send them back and get them reordered. Like, we don't want to be scrambling 2 nights before and saying, okay, we'll have to run to Walmart and buy a bunch of junky headsets because we don't have the ones that we need. Like, the planning needs to be perfect ahead of time, so that way the week before, all we're doing, like Dan said, is basically pricing cards and getting things finalized, because everything else is already in place. Like, the Twitch stream is going to be a whole new ball game for us, and I don't think any of us are under the understanding yet of what all needs to go into it. And I know you two are way ahead of the game when it comes to the understanding than I am, because I have no familiarity with setting up a stream of that capacity. But the reason I'm stressed out is because I'm looking at how great it can be and how bad it can be. And if we're not prepared perfectly, like, it's not gonna be what we want it to be.
Let's take a second.
That's my main worry.
Let's take a second and think about other streams, right? So, Battle Factory did an amazing stream a few weeks ago. It was flawless. Like, it was just about what we wanted, right? Think back a bunch of regionals before that, where there were plenty of streams that didn't start till round 3 or 4, that didn't have a great layout, that had terrible sound quality. It's, they were just streaming for the sake of streaming, right? They didn't put enough planning or effort into it, and honestly, the community can be very unforgiving. Sharks. Like, the community can just be sharks. They will eat us alive if it's obvious that we didn't put enough effort into this. When things go wrong, it's unforgivable from the start. Like, we have to be perfect. Like, the stream has to be perfect. That's the only option. And so with that comes a ton of planning and preparation. And we've just hit the wall. Like, this is it. Execution begins now.
Yeah, I don't want to downsell anything that we've done already or the things that we've already accomplished. But a lot of stuff is just, we have stuff written down, and we have conversations that have happened and plans to accomplish those tasks. But plans need to start coming to fruition, or otherwise, like, we're going to run into problems. We're going to run into trouble, and we're going to be at the point where it's 3 weeks before, and we're having this conversation again, and we haven't made any headway.
I think that'd probably be the worst case scenario, is if 3 weeks from now we still have this entire list in front of us.
yeah, I don't foresee that happening.
Good. I don't either, but it's just...
It's easy to say, but life gets in the way, and it's happened a lot before. So I don't want to be negative or anything like that, but we're basically at the same point as, what we were at 9 weeks. Now we're at 6 weeks. Like, we need to start holding ourselves accountable and checking stuff off the list.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so for all our listeners out there, as you can hear, this is tough stuff. Like, this is real life stuff here. It can be frustrating, but also it can be very rewarding. Like, after regionals last year, all 3 of us, I can attest to it. We were all just elated, relieved. Like, it was It was an amazing experience. We want that again. Like, that's why we do it, because it's worth it. Like, it sounds like it's tough, and it sounds like it's like we're having a hard time, but I mean, and it's because we are, and it is, but it's going to be worth it, and we're going to get there.
I think to put stuff into perspective for people, like, you need to think of it this way. So think of it as you work an entire year. All right. So Darrin works 1 year, 365 days, 52 weeks, gets paid. Let's say Darrin makes $50,000 a year. Darrin goes to the casino, and Darrin takes all $50,000 and puts it on red at the roulette table. Like, think of it that way. Think of you worked for 1 year, took all of your earnings, emptied out your bank account, put it all on red. And that's what you're going with. Because that's basically where we're at. Like, we have invested a lot of money into this. We've taken a lot of money, a lot of funds, and put it into this event. And we could either do really well, or that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. It's basically what we did. And it's tough to say, like, this is what it would be like if you put yourself in our shoes, but that's basically the closest comparison that I can come to.
The only difference is now, like, the amount of preparation and work that we can put in right now is going to move the odds. Like, a roulette table's a coin toss, right? It's 50-50 or worse. What we can do now is increase our odds, get as close to 100% as we can. That's what we have to do now. Like, the less we take care of at this point, the worse our odds are going to be. Like, if we put every day that we put off one of these projects that we can start doing, every day we don't check something off, that's lowering our chances of success. I think your roulette analogy was perfect. It's just that, unlike roulette, we have the ability to change the odds.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like, we can get to the point where we grossly swing the odds in our favor, but it's the amount of work that we do now that the money's invested, like the money is spent.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we do now helps swing the odds into our favor to the point where it's not a 50-50 coin flip anymore.
Exactly.
And people who listen to this podcast who have done stuff like this before, they understand where we're coming from, and they understand what we're talking about, and they know, like, there's people out there who are vendors, or people out there who are companies that listen to our podcast, and they're probably saying, yeah, you know, it's tough, and they might be like, these guys are definitely not ready, and that's totally fine and totally understandable to think that, but they also know the gains that can happen. Like, they know that we could really put Dead Jaw Gaming on the map and set an event structure like something that's never been accomplished before. And it's now we're at the point where 6 weeks out, it's make it or break it time, where we need to put in all of the effort and all the work now and work like we've never worked before to make it into that success.
Heck yes.
But we don't need to beat around a dead bush. I guess.
That's not the same. That's 2 in 1. That's 2 sayings in one. You've polymorphed
it's
them.
An intense thing. I'm a dual kind of guy.
I love it.
Fire and ice.
Fire and ice. Danny, always with the fire and the ice.
But mostly the fire.
Bringing the fire, bringing the ice. Today was mostly fire. Like, this is hot stuff, guys. Feet to the flames. Let's do this. Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about the recent regionals that we just had in Germany last week. This is the first event we've had. There was a special event a couple weeks ago, but obviously we have a lull right now in competitive play as far as regionals go. Our next regional isn't for a couple weeks yet. The first weekend in Utah. So literally the weekend that Forbidden Light releases is Utah regionals. But we did have a regional tournament in Stuttgart. Is that how you say it?
I think so. Aren't you the German?
Yes. So we'll go with what I said. Stuttgart regionals. It was expanded, and there was 205 masters. So what that meant, why that was important, because that meant there was only a top 8. So there was no day 2 cut of 32. It was just a top 8. Do you guys know what the kicker is for a top 32 off the top of your head?
Isn't it
201?
like 206? They were like super close to it, right?
I know they were close to it, but obviously they missed it to the point where it only got top 8.
I believe
I
it's
could have looked it
201.
up before, but I forgot to. And this was the so it was expanded. This was the Zoroark Regional because 5 of the top 8 decks had Zoroark in it. I believe most of them were Zoroark eggs. So I'll just go through the list here. Top 8, there were 5 Zoroark decks, 1 Gardevoir deck, 1 Seismitoad Garbodor, and 1 Sableye Garbodor. So we haven't seen Sable Garb for a little bit of a while now. There were some day 2 finishes earlier in the season, but nothing as good as what Christian Sarnataro did. So he took top 4 with it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ended up going to Zoroark. Pedro Torres won with Zoroark, and he beat Miloslav Posledny, who also played Zoroark. And our favorite Tord finished in 3rd with Zoroark. So the top 3 decks were Zoroark. Christian finished 4th with his Sableye Garbodor deck. And then 6th was Philip Emmerich with Gardevoir. And 7th was Marco Jakowski with Seismitoad Garbodor. So a lot of Zoroark running around like crazy. Caleb Gedemer, TeamDDG Pro player, also went and he made top 16. So he ended up getting enough points that he jumped up into 4th place.
Nice.
In the North American / Canada leaderboard. So Caleb's at 1,320 points. He is 72 points behind Michael Premowat. And then Azul and Igor are 2nd and 1st, respectively. So congrats to Caleb. Top 4 means that he gets a bigger stipend moving forward to Latin America, which is the next international tournament.
Oh,
So that's pretty cool.
That is amazing. Congratulations, Caleb, on your top 4. Woo, baby. Amazing.
Trust the process.
Yeah, that's what he says, right?
Yeah.
I heard them saying that on sports radio last night. I'm like, did they listen to Caleb?
Mm-hmm. It's got to be. Sounds about right. So how much do you think Tord did any practicing before getting 3rd?
I think he did play quite a bit, probably, just judging by his Twitter feed. I know this was his first expanded tournament that he's ever participated in. And obviously he's going to have a lot of comfortability with Zoroark GX already. It's just crazy to me how rampant Zoroark runs all over the place. And I know that in Standard it hasn't been necessarily the bee's knees like it was earlier after its release, because a lot of people are countering it with Buzzwole and Lycanroc builds because it hits for weakness. But if there wasn't a viable fighting archetype in the meta, it would be Zoroark all over the place.
Yeah.
And propagation just makes Zoroark even more powerful and expanded. And Skyfield.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I got a little update here. Top 32 kicks in at 227, so Dan, you were closer.
But that's such a weird number. Why?
Just the way Swiss works, I guess.
Just the way she goes.
Yeah, it is weird. 227. I don't know. It's nice to see. I watched the stream for a little bit. The commentators did a fine job. The stream was fine. I believe Limitless, who does a good job of ranking teams, and I like Limitless because they put TeamDDG at the top. I think they ran the stream for this one, and it was well done. I only watched a little bit of it because I wasn't going to wake up, at 3:30 in the morning to watch round 1. But
Gross.
congrats to Caleb. Congrats to those who went. Ryan Allred and Isaiah Williams, who are also from the U.S., they also made the trip. And Isaiah Williams also made top 16. They actually ended up playing each other. Caleb and Isaiah played each other round one.
Wow.
Yep.
So 205 Masters, 3 of them from the U.S., 2 of them got paired in round one
Illuminati.
against each other.
It's Illuminati.
Illuminati. There were some interesting decks just to kind of finish up this. There was a Donphan deck that took 9th, that bubbled.
What?
Yeah. There was a Primal Groudon list that took 31st, so good enough for top 32. And there was a Durant that finished in top 16.
Man, I don't know. I don't know about Mill. Like, boo.
Well, the idea was that it does a good job helping against the Zoroark list. And just looking at the deck list from Durant, doesn't look like anything, out of the ordinary. Like it's got its Nest Balls and its Level Balls. It's got a couple of Mews from Fates Collide. And then, it's got its Durant with, what is its attack? Chip Off or something like that, I think it's called.
Something like that, yeah.
And then it's Handiworks, it's Trick Shovels, Enhanced Hammers, things like that. It's got the Life Dew to make sure that you deny prizes. And it runs 8 energy. So a pretty basic build. But it must have been pretty powerful if it made top 16. Not a bad call. I remember talking to Caleb actually a month or so ago about Durant. So it's nice to see some different things kind of popping up here and there. That's what you get with Expanded.
I don't like Mill decks, I guess is all I got to say about that.
You don't like mill decks at all?
I just don't like Mill in general as a archetype. I think it's unhealthy. It's not. I would rather someone win a game by winning it rather than by your opponent losing.
Yeah, I like that. I'm with Darrin on that one.
It's a win condition, a viable win condition.
It is. Yes, it is.
It doesn't mean you have to like it, though.
That's darn right, Dan. Same page.
All right, I don't think we have anything more that we need to say about Germany regionals.
Just Zoroark.
We'll talk about.
That's all.
Yeah, we'll talk about Forbidden Light, what impact it'll have on the meta. Maybe we'll do a YouTube video with some of our pro players as we get closer to release date, and then over the next couple weeks, probably next week, I guess it would be, or the week after, we'll talk about a little prelude to Utah. And until then, I guess we can move on.
Moving on. Moving on up.
Moving on around.
Round.
This is where you sing, Dan.
Oh, what do you guys want me to sing?
I think it's just
Sing
3
the
words.
Star Spangled Banner.
Weekly top 5.
Yeah! There it is.
There we go. So this week we're doing abilities of Pokemon in the standard Pokemon trading card game format, which is breakthrough all the way up to what is what's the most Crimson Invasion? No.
Ultra
Yeah.
Prism.
Ultra Prism. Blanked on that. Sorry. So all the way up to Ultra Prism. So who wants to start?
I really struggled with this.
Really? I did not.
I've got a few. I've got one honorary mention. I'll go ahead and start. So I have a top 6. My number 5, I know there's a ton of abilities. There are so many really good abilities. I felt like 4 of them stood out above the rest. And then I have a couple others that were kind of vying for that 5th spot. So my honorable mention is Vikavolt Strong Charge. Just because it's can swing a game so hard. Tapu Bulu Vikavolt is just such a crazy deck. And then my number 5 is Lycanroc GX's Bloodthirsty Eyes.
See, I have 12 written down.
Wow!
Whoa.
So I
I
have
only wrote
7.
down 7.
I have 6 honorable mentions, and one of them was Strong Charge. And now I'm really struggling to see which one, because I have 4 of them crossed off. So like Giant Water Shuriken, I took off. Bide Barricade, I took off. Versatile, I took off. Strong Charge, I took off.
Wow.
I
You're
guess.
killing me.
Okay, I'm going to start out with a number 5, and I'm going to go with Stand-In. I'll say
Great.
that's my number 5.
So
I don't
my
know.
honorable mention was Giant Water Shuriken. My number 5 was Strong Charge from Vikavolt.
Yeah. My number 4 is Giant Water Shuriken from Greninja Break.
My number 4 is Scoundrel Guard.
That was my other one that I wrote down, but I couldn't do it. My number 4, Garbotoxin.
Ooh. My number 3 is Tapu Lele's Wonder Tag.
My number 3 is Wonder Tag.
Interesting. My number 3 is Bloodthirsty Eyes from Lycanroc GX.
Ooh. My number 2 is Garbotoxin from Garbodor.
My number 2 is. I'm really. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go with my number 2 as Trade, but now I'm second guessing my ones at the bottom of the list.
My number 2 is Trade from Zoroark GX.
My number 1 is Trade from Zoroark GX.
My number 1 is Garbotoxin.
And my number 1 is Wonder Tag from Tapu Lele GX.
Here we go. We had fairly different top 5s. It's pretty cool.
The reason I put Garbotoxin at number 1 is just because it shuts off Wonder Tag. You know, it's just too strong. It shuts off everything. But like Giant Water Shuriken, Bloodthirsty Eyes, Bide Barricade, Secret Spring, Memories of Dawn, Versatile, Strong Charge, they all had ways to get into that top 5, I think. And I just struggled putting them in top 5.
I completely agree that all of those abilities are very good.
I think that if Versatile... I think maybe, like, Versatile definitely could have been up there, but I think maybe I was a little biased against it because 120 is way too easy to hit. And so, like, I gave the rest of Mew the faults to Versatile, but, like, that definitely super good.
I mean, Memories of Dawn could make a place in that top 5 in a few weeks.
That's true.
And Secret Spring's just always been around. Like, it's just such a powerful thing.
Psycho Recharge.
But I think that Tapu Lele and Zoroark and Garbodor need to be in the top 5 no matter what. And the only reason I put Scoundrel Guard in there is because of the performance that Hoopa has had and how much it impacts the meta just because of the amount of attackers that you have out there that are GXs.
Yeah, it's strong right now. It's super good. Definitely worthy of a top 5 finish.
All right. Well, I guess that's our question of the week.
Not
Or
quite.
a weekly top 5, rather.
Oh yeah, we're moving into the weekly top 5.
We are
Out of the
moving
weekly
into
top 5.
we are moving
Moving
into the question of the week. Got
Once
him.
it gets sung.
Question of the week. He sang it. Welcome to this week's question of the week, all of our listeners. Hooray! We have made it to everyone's favorite part of the podcast because I want it to be. Our question of the week last week was all about dual typing. What is your favorite dual typing? We asked you. No one took us up on the creating your Pokemon for a type, but I didn't give you much time. So hopefully over the next week, someone will just have like a drawing and a whole bunch of others, like an ability and like attacks learned at what level. I just want everything. I want a whole entire Pokemon.
You want a
made.
level up moveset?
Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely do. Like really plan this guy out and then send it to Pokemon. And if it's an
Yeah, also create your own moves.
Yeah, do it. If it's an Alolan Primeape, even better. All right. Our first response that I'm going to read here comes from Nam Kim. Good old Nam. He says, I love Steel type. I love Steel dual types before the nerf. Psychic Steel and Flying Steel were my favorites. Then Dan said, not you, Dan. Different. This is a different Dan. This is a Dan N. He said, I just want real flying types so that I can play with Pidgeot, so I'll say flying normal. Then Brian said, Fire Water, Volcanion, specifically Volcanion EX, that's right. I love that response, Brian. Jacob comes in with the Dark Fairy, and then Kashvinder comes in saying Steel and Ghost being my two favorite types. I believe Aegislash is one of them. Aegislash is one of the best Pokemon, best Ghost type Pokemon, best Steel type Pokemon out there. I love Aegislash. That's what we got from Facebook. Let's hop over to Twitter and see what our tweeters have to say. All right, we have a response from James. Oh, Dan, you're going to like this. Mega Steelix. So many underestimate it when I play it. Plus, fighting and steel types are nasty. What do you think of that, Dan?
If Mega Steelix is actually fighting type, steel type, instead of like Rock and Steel, like, oh man.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? And finally, let's finish it up in our Discord. Jeez, I didn't see this picture till just now. If you are a member of our Discord channel, head over to the Question of the Week tab. There's a very fun picture posted by Mitten Militia. It's hilarious. His favorite is Steel Dragon. It's good. It's very worthwhile. Solo D also responded with Steel Dragon. And Wayne said Dragon/Dragon would be pretty cool. It'd be 4 times weak to Dragon and Fairy, but I think the trade-off is worth it.
Well, because now all your stab moves do double, right? That's how that works.
Oh yeah, double stab, right?
Yeah,
And
double stab.
yeah. And boy, Cam coming in with the double response. We got Fairy Fighting would be dope. All right, there it is. Question of the week from last week. Completely responded to. Thank you to all of our responders. I love this section of our podcast, if I didn't say so earlier.
Do you think they'll ever make a tri-type?
Oh, yeah. I bet they will. Like crystal types in the card game? Or something like that?
Like Alolan Primeape is fire, ice, and electric?
No fighting type still? No fighting in there?
It's Alolan.
I mean, if it's going to be any 3 types, like, have it be those 3, because that's what Tri-Attack, right?
Yeah,
Tri-Attack is triple stab.
that's what I was going for.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Were you actually going for that, or like...
No, yeah, I was.
Oh. Proud of you.
Thanks.
Y'all in your old format stuff. This week...
But no, Tri-Attack is a video game move, fam.
Oh, what? Is it?
Yeah, it's a normal type move that does either 70 or 80 damage. Has the chance to burn, paralyze, or freeze.
Wow. I guess I've never really used it. Interesting.
It's a good attack.
Does Dodrio know it?
Dodrio does know it.
He does know it, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Like Dodrio, it's pretty common with like Porygon line.
Yeah, I remember in the video game it shoots out like this 3-pronged thing at you that slowly circles.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, Darrin. You should look it up.
I just might have to do that.
You're missing out, man.
I'm gonna Google it later. I will. All right, this week, what are we asking? We are asking what is your favorite Pokemon with an ability in the TCG. So we changed it up from our top 5 was about, the best abilities in Standard. We want to know what's your favorite Pokemon with an ability. So it doesn't have to be necessarily the best. It can be. If your favorite is, Tapu Lele GX and Wonder Tag, or Zoroark GX and Trade, or whatever, that's just fine. Let us know in your response, and we will read it on next week's podcast. All right, that's it for Question of the Week.
Sweet. I guess we'll move on to Buy, Sell, Trade of the Week, which was very, very full of buying this past week. So I bought 6 full art Tapu Leles for $38 or $30 each, and 2 regular art Tapu Leles for $28 each.
Whoa.
Good.
I bought 72 Bridgets for $4 each.
Much.
Wow.
I bought 34 Float Stones for $1 each, and 55 Parallel Cities for 50 cents each.
Now we sound like a card store.
Yeah, I bought a lot of staples. I got some additional Max Elixirs, some Ends, some Sycamores, really just a lot more staples. There wasn't anything like super out of the ordinary that I bought as far as like gold stars or crystals or anything like that this week. I was watching an auction for a crystal Celebi, but it ended up getting a little bit higher than what I was hoping to find, so I ended up passing on that. Can't think of anything else off the top of my head that I bought outside of what I read, but it was mostly just a lot of staples and Leles. And then there's some other stuff that I'm working on deals with, but we're in negotiation phases right now, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
Negotiating. So I'm just going to kind of keep buying stuff that's easy to turn quickly and that will turn easily in Madison if we need to sit on it. I've been looking a little bit more at some older format stuff just because I think it'll be cool to have at our booth, and then still trying to find good deals on like WOTC, holographic cards, things like that, because they've skyrocketed in price so much. But it's difficult to find good pricing on that stuff. A lot of that stuff is graded nowadays, which is tough because you don't want to pay grading premiums. And then the stuff that's not graded is always in kind of junky condition. And then it's a toss-up on whether it's going to be easy to turn. And some of that stuff sits longer because you can only sell it to collectors, really. So if you need a Bridget or a Float Stone or Parallel City, you know where to come crawling.
Like it.
Yeah. So with that, we can move into our open discussion. The only thing that I really want to say was thank you. We got a lot of emails over the past week from people just kind of letting us know that, either asking us questions, letting us know how much they enjoy the podcast, or whatever the case may be. I really appreciate all of the emails that you guys give us. It means a lot. So thank you very much to those of you guys who have sent in emails. It's great. And then a lot of people who messaged us and said how much they enjoyed last week's episode of the podcast, which was a little bit out of the norm, kind of like this week where we talk a lot more about business aspects of things. And even, conversation obviously gets a little bit heated at times. I think we all appreciate the support and the feedback that you guys give us, and it means a lot. So that's all I have to say about open discussion. So one of you guys, Darrin, probably.
Hey, yeah. How did you know? Let me double up with that. Thank you. I was able to make a judge email response. I love when people send in judge questions to me because it makes me feel like all the time that I spent judging wasn't a waste. And I just like helping people, So that was great. I know the guy that emailed us, his tournament was today, Thursday, when we're recording. So hopefully he did well. Maybe I'll shoot him an email, see how he did. Other than that, Pokemon Go, I have nearly completed my Gen 1 Pokédex. All I have left is Articuno, Zapdos, and then Kangaskhan, and Mr. Mime. And Mew. I don't have Mew yet. So, like, 5 Pokemon. I'm close. I mean, that's
Dang.
once I have the 2 birds that I'm sure will show up after Moltres. I was kind of hoping that this week's research wouldn't be Moltres again. I was hoping it'd move on to like Articuno or Zapdos. Preferably Zapdos. I'd like to get him right quick. And then, other than that, funny thing, turns out my contact information is still the info on tournaments in Fargo. I got a phone call from a guy in Minnesota today asking about my tournament in Moorhead, and I'm like, what? But I was still able to answer his questions. It wasn't my tournament. They had my phone number attached to the tournament info, so that was interesting. So right when he calls, he's like, yeah, I'm interested in your tournament this weekend. I'm like, huh? What?
Way to go, Andrew.
No, we figured it out. It's all good. I guess they had some issue up there getting it sanctioned, so Kevin had to sanction it, and then my phone number is still the one on the league page for some reason. Andrew forgot to change it, and so I'm sure Kevin just put that phone number on there thinking it was Andrew's, and oops. Stuff happens.
True.
How about you, Dan? Any news?
I'm trying to come up with something. I don't have anything this week.
Well, Dan, if that's it, I guess you can just take us home.
All right. So, you guys, if you enjoyed episode number 80 of Dead Rock Gaming, a Pokemon TCG podcast like no one ever was, make sure to hit that like button down below and share this podcast with all of your friends. And make sure to check us out next week for episode number 81, where I'm certain we will have something awesome to talk about. But that's all we have for you guys this week. So, for Danny, for Darren, and I am Dan, we will see you next time.